Welcome to Rauta. This video is done in commercial collaboration with our sponsor, Steelfest. Welcome to Rauta's Underground Trio. Once again, in this episode, we have three bands from the underground metal, and this time they're all of different genres. Many of you, I guess, have got to know that most of the bands operate within black metal, or at least black and death metal, but this time it's a little bit different because we have only one band from the black metal department, one from heavy metal scene, and the third one is actually kind of a hybrid that doesn't really fit the bill of any given genres, or at least not one or maybe even two of them. And unlike in Indie 5 episodes, I don't go through these in alphabetical order, but rather worst to best. And the first hit goes to Finland with a band called Vaina. This is a really peculiar case for various reasons. Now let's start with the obvious. This is one-man band from Finland with Santer the Archmage. Now at this point I'm gonna get red flags. I mean, it's like one-man project, okay, check, bedroom black metal anyone. Secondly, when you have an artist name which is like a Dungeons and Dragons character, it gets another red flag. Don't get me wrong, I do like personally role-playing games, but I don't mix those hobbies with my musical ones. So I'm like already okay getting weird vibes from it. The logo is a little bit putting me off, but I mean all those are of course totally just ignorable, forgettable if the music is good. If it only was good, and if it only was even black metal. Now the reason why this Futue the ipsum slash Angel with Many Faces album is here is, well, Aesthetic Death has been supporting me with so many releases throughout the years, and this is just one of them. We have another one coming later on this episode. So this is CD from them in 2022, and this one seems to be a kind of a compilation of something previous and later on released, and as such results more than 1 hour. And what a confusing and also disappointing trip it is. Now, this one is not purely black metal. Just not even that bedroom black metal. The thing here is, there are black metal parts, yes, but then there are lots more, and none of them are exactly good. Now, I don't care what kind of music we're talking about as long as the music is good. I don't mind if it's electronic, hip hop, whatever. The thing here is, this album is not good. Not any of the aspects I'm gonna list here. First of all, there are a lot of drum machine parts which are just absolutely awful. I mean, it sounds like the songwriter decided to go the easiest way possible, not to get the real drummer, not to even bother doing, good drum machine parts. I mean, there are albums that kind of can fool you with the drum machine. I've heard a lot of those kind of demos and whatever single tracks. Even sometimes people on Discord keep sending me like those really quickly done drum machine parts, and they're most often awful. And this is just like one of them. Now, even this could be some degree forgettable, or at least forgivable, if the music riff-wise or otherwise would be good, but it's not. It's actually an absolute turd. The thing here is, none of these riffs are actually good. And if it only was like, okay, some slippery bedroom black metal project done with your left hand and, I don't know, ear stuffed and eyes blinded or whatever, but it seems like this is just, fucking with you. The thing here is, this is kind of a combination when you have electronic parts, kind of a horrible hip hop parts, horrible bedroom black metal parts, electronic parts. It's almost like trolling the listener. Now, I don't mind taking the hit. That's why we reviewers are here for. Some say we're gatekeepers, and yes, we definitely want to keep the gate closed when we're talking about albums like this. I wouldn't recommend this to anybody. I mean, I'm not sure if this is a trolling attempt or if this is just like because the artist is totally skillless. Doesn't really matter what the excuse is. Maybe this is the best he could do. If that's the case, I feel sorry for him and all the people he knows who are forced to listen to this kind of crap. Um, But maybe this is joke. Maybe I'm just taking the joke that kind of, ha ha, you got me right there. And I'm gonna pretend that this is the case. I'm gonna pretend this is one of those, comedy parts where just people are like taking seriously, like, okay, they're getting kind of a roasted, like, hey, please review this. I'm gonna treat this as a joke because I don't believe anybody is willing to do this kind of a horrible release. Like, seriously. Like, actually spending hours and hours and hours honing the songwriting parts, those sloppy guitar sounds which you're doing with your computer or smartphone, maybe tablet if you're advanced. Uh, so I'm gonna pretend this is not done jokingly and half-assed. Maybe this is just like this is some kind of a joke. This is not done seriously. Yeah, it's that horrible. One of the most horrible releases ever, and definitely one in many, 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 many months. So let's start talking about it. This is the worst of this pile, and let's move on. The next one comes from Poland, and this is the second album by Hellhaim. Don't mix it with Hellhaim from from Norway, just spelled differently. This is a way newer band. We're not talking about the 90s black metal band, but Hellhaim from 2009, and this is the second album. Now, there was quite a few years of gap before the band actually moved to first album. Never heard it, and to be honest, after listening to this one, not really interested. And then a few years later came out Let the Dead Not Lose Hope. Sounds kind of a promising, I guess, but unfortunately, this is not the case. What we have here in essence is very, very lukewarm heavy metal thing. Now in Finland we have this saying among the reviewers, like I guess it kind of translates to crappy heavy. The crappy heavy is kind of like the vocalist isn't exactly able to sing well. The riffs are a little bit of this and that, and the production is kind of a sloppy, and everything is like, yeah. But there are moments when you kind of like, yeah, these keys, this is kind of like 80s stuff, but just badly done, badly produced, and songwriting is a little bit that. And I guess this fits that bill anyway. The thing here is, it's not like this is sloppily played, and it's not like the production is awful. It's not good either, but just saying it does its job, but it's beyond, like, hey, we're not gonna call it good. The same thing goes for the vocalist, which is something like between horrible and decent. There are parts where it just almost gives you hope something interesting is going to happen, but it's not. It's more like one is not able to decide whether go for a little bit Motorhead or just kind of a trad heavy metal singing, and same goes for the riffs. There are lots of riffs which are like almost there, like doing decent stuff. Some are more Manowar-like, some are more, I don't know, just kind of hybrid riffs, but none of them are really clicking. It's almost like dirty as rock, but not really there. And those Manowar parts, they kind of feel like Manowar leftovers. I mean, in my opinion, Manowar never did a bad album, but this is like what you would achieve if Manowar was like, nope, 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 and somebody was picking up the pieces. Okay, I'm gonna steal this riff, I'm gonna put it into use, and then you have it as a highlight moment, like a jewel in your poor clothing, and everybody's like, yeah, your clothing looks like second hand from 20 years ago, but at least you got the jewel, right? The thing here is, this is not a horrible album, but it's very, very forgettable as a heavy metal album. It's almost like a demo in full album length, and as such I feel like it's kind of a waste of time unless you're really desperate looking for some kind of a sea level heavy metal. Thing is, this could actually be good, but it would need a lot of work. So, as such, I'm gonna treat this like a demo. Yes, maybe after an album or two, you're gonna nail it and you're gonna do a decent one. But this is not that. This is lukewarm mediocrity, and can't be too mad about it. But let's go back to rehearsal room and start doing something else. The Best of the Pile, however, is not exactly a good album either, but at least it's way more interesting than those two combined. This is Epitaphe from France, and this is second album. Now, previously in 2000, I think it was 2019 when I got the demo, and it was okay. Then came the first album, 2019, which I got a review called Just One by Roman Numbers, and it wasn't that good. It was like a weird school musicians trying to do some heavy doom death with lots of curvy, hairy, whatever riffs, which are like sometimes like, What the hell? Okay, they picked up the pieces, started to, making amends and all that stuff, and the result is 3 years later, album number two. Now, seriously, I don't get these review scores here. I'm not gonna read the reviews. If this is for somebody like, hey, I like it because it's so weird and it's music school stuff, like musical universities, PhD candidate work, whatever. Yeah, marginal taste, acquired taste only. So the second album is over 1 hour length, and I'm like, this time I start sweating because there's so few albums which are more than like say 60 minutes and they're still good. I mean, there are those albums, but they are really, really fucking rare ones. Now, when you take a closer look at this track length, you pretty much figure out, okay, there is this kind of an intro track, 3 minutes, okay, and then you have outro track, which is less than 3 minutes. When you remove those out of the equation, you have like three tracks which are on average like 18 minutes, and this is where you get double red flags. The thing here is you have to be super skilled to make interesting tracks with that kind of length. Not only one, but this one has three. So the thing here is these guys are combining the aforementioned tune parts, but not as much as the previous. You have the kind of a curvy death metal ones, which are like, yeah, I know plenty of better bands doing that, but let's forget that. And now they're adding a little bit black metal, also acoustic parts and semi-acoustic parts, and all kind of interesting or not that interesting parts to make it kind of a like a weird combination of thing. In order to make it interesting, there would be some kind of a more workable pattern. The kind of a riff and riff B, riff C, maybe bridge part, and then you have chorus. These bands don't give a fuck. They're way too French for that. This is almost like you're going to a buffet table and a little bit picking that. Okay, I'm gonna have this meat, this sausage, this salad, this banana. Let's throw in some mango. I don't know what kind of stuff you're doing, but basically you're going into a buffet table and you are gonna like every piece of that, or maybe not. But anyway, you're doing it anyway because you just kind of want to have a little bit this and that. Now, for some people, I guess it really works given the high scores with these two albums. But most of the people out there are gonna find Epitaphe way too weird. I will bet beer on that. I'm not gonna put my finger on that because maybe somebody's going to challenge me that. The thing here is, this is really, really hard to get into. I feel this is kind of an artsy-fartsy project, and maybe if you're a musician, you're gonna pick some interesting nuances here and there. I am somewhat of a musician, but then again, I'm just a vocalist. I don't really understand that much about guitar playing and whatever. And the point here is, I like to enjoy the certain kind of a patterns. Maybe just I'm a simpleton or whatever. But when you have like 90 minutes of various riffs without interesting patterns, and it seems like more like showcasing what you have, interesting, trying to make an interesting song. Now, enough ranting. This is better than the previous album, but it's gonna be way too hard for most people to like. And the production, how to put it nicely, it could be a lot better. It's not useless, it's not horrible, but it's not really like some kind of a big ass production, which I guess would actually support the music here. I mean, when you have really skilled and detailed, lots of nuances, kind of a songwriting, at least have the production that makes every instrument feel important. Like, okay, this snare sound is fantastic. How about that bass? How about those kick drums? And those guitar solos, leads, acoustic parts. When everything is kind of like it's more like, okay, we've spent so much time to, figure out these guitar riffs. We're too tired to do the production. Let's just get over with it really quickly and nobody will, blink an eye. I don't know, but I kind of hope this band would totally like make the next album really good. I kind of feel like they have it. Now they have more like riffs, but the songwriting, I mean, when you do those compositions, it kind of sucks. Individual riffs, not so much. And these guys really have the skill to write those riffs and parts, but about songwriting, compositions, not so much. Anyway, if you want to challenge yourself with something atypical and you don't mind a combination of doom, death, black, and beyond, well, go ahead and give Epitaph a try. At least it's not your typical release, and that should be worth something. Maybe it's not, but Hey, I'm not to decide here. So, with this underground trio, I hope you a good journey with this aforementioned band, or maybe you're gonna just skip all of them. You will find links provided in the description box, and you can then just move on from the Metal Archive site with the links provided. So, there you have it. Enjoy or not. See you once again with the next Underground Trio episode with more underground bands. See ya.